Hello everybody and welcome to another Ask Dr. Bob. And I really enjoy making a difference in each and every one of your lives, and I thank you for passing these tips and Ask Dr. Bob answers on to your friends and your family. Last week I mentioned to you that I was going to give you tips for summer vacation. I did a program on Fox 8 back in December of 2012, and it was tips of what you should do when you travel. And here's what I'm going to suggest that you do. Get some black electrical tape. And when you go into a hotel room, the little light that's on the fire alarm or the fire device that they have up there, you can put a little piece of tape on that, and you can put a little piece of tape on the microwave, a little piece of tape on the TV, a little piece of tape everywhere, because those lights will stimulate your brain and you're not going to get a restful, peaceful sleep. Here's another tip when you go and you travel and you maybe are in a hotel room and there's always that little crack of light that bothers you and it shines right in your eyes when you're on the bed. I've taken some legal clips, those black clips, they look like alligator mouths. You could clip the drapery shut inside of the hotel room. And here's another tip for you. Always take your own pillow. Even if you have to have a separate bag for your own pillow, because you're going to end up having a stiff neck. I promise you, you're going to have a stiff neck when you have these big old pillows. These hotel rooms are like climbing a mountain. Make sure, and a lot of people deviate from this when they're gone, is that you drink water from a pure source. Continue to drink water, because if you don't drink water, you're going to dehydrate. Take some Celtic sea salt along with you. You say, why am I going to do that for, Dr. Bob? Because you need minerals. When you're on vacation, you're going to be stressed. I also make sure that I have a sharp knife with me. Now, you can't take it on a plane with you. You can take it in your car. But I always have a Swiss Army knife or some type of knife with me, because we go to a health food store and we buy apples, etc. You want to be able to cut those devices up. I'm just trying to give you some tips that you maybe have not thought about before. But sleeping is the key. And when you have a friend or a relative that you're staying with and they want you to eat some food that you normally don't eat, don't say, I don't eat it. Just pleasantly say, no thank you. Let's talk about some of the Ask Dr. Bobs. Dr. Bob, how do I find out if I'm gluten intolerant? Well, I've done a lot of studies on gluten, and we've given presentations down at the celiac group in southern Florida. You can have a biopsy of your colon. When they do the biopsy of your colon, they're looking for denuded skin, in other words, no villi. Regardless if you want to do that test or not, probably the best thing to do is avoid gluten for 3 months on your own, and then have a product or an item that has gluten in it. If you have a reaction, you more than likely have a gluten challenge in your body. But what I'm finding is a lot of people actually have a deficiency of oil. The omega-3 oils are often a challenge when people have gluten challenges themselves. There is something called cross-reactivity, is that you may have a gluten sensitivity and not eat anything gluten, but have some coffee. Because the number 1 and number 2 cross-reactivity foods for gluten is coffee and dairy. So in other words, if you're going to have coffee with dairy in it and you're having some digestive distress, it could be a cross-reactivity reaction that you're having. And we just had a practice member just leave our office recently that was having chronic digestive distress, and I suggested a blood serum CO2, carbon dioxide. If your carbon dioxide is low, and this is really important, you may have never heard this anywhere else, it could be that you need glutamine. L-glutamine helps prevent gastric inflammation. So oil and L-glutamine could be the answer for some of you. The same person asked, is fibromyalgia related? Gluten itself could be an issue because it stops your body from absorbing minerals. So you're going to have this coating inside of your intestines and you can't absorb minerals. I drink reverse osmosis water. How do I replace the minerals in it? I use Celtic sea salt liberally. That's why I mentioned you take the Celtic sea salt with you when you go on vacation, and you look for municipal filtered water, and you put your Celtic sea salt in all the food that you're going to be consuming. Dr. Bob, I have a question on a rash at the back of my head, goes down to my hairline. My beautician said it was psoriasis, but I wanted to ask you your opinion. And here's just a comment. I would actually go to a search engine and look and just type in psoriasis, because they usually have this very glistening color on the lesion itself. Sometimes people may mistake psoriasis for eczema. We use bio-omega-3 oils to help eczema, but psoriasis is almost always a liver issue. And I generally see psoriasis in women after they've had a baby or two, and if they drink alcohol, and I'm not telling you not to drink alcohol, especially wine, because I know they promote that as a health food, but alcohol compromises liver function, puts a demand on your liver, and if your liver's not working well, I will guarantee you'll have a skin problem. So anybody has a skin problem, they usually have a liver issue. Can I cure the psoriasis permanently? Well, you might put some coal tar on it and it might give you symptomatic relief. You might put some UV light on it, which will give it symptomatic relief. I would do Dr. Bob's ABCs, a half a red apple every day, a third cup of beet fiber and 1 medium carrot. That supports liver health. See, if you eat wheat, wheat depletes the body of zinc. Your body needs zinc for skin. Skin is a reflection of how your liver is functioning. Psoriasis is a body signal to me of liver distress, and there's actually something called psoriatic arthropathy, which is arthritis caused by psoriasis, which is kind of frightening. Gallbladder out. Dr. Bob, I had my gallbladder out. I'm going to tell you right now, that's probably one of the biggest challenges that we see in our practice on a regular basis. Once again, I just had a recent practice member leave the office. When we looked at her films, she had massive amounts of gas on her films, which you can see the little titanium clips on her x-ray. She had her gallbladder out after baby number 2. Babies create, once again, a demand on your liver. Your liver makes bile. The gallbladder is the reservoir of bile. Bile is alkaline, just the opposite of acid. When you have stress, your body becomes acid, tending to use up your bile because bile plus many other items helps neutralize acidity in your body. Women tend to have their gallbladders out more than men. It's very serious. You may consider using a bile salt. A food that helps thin the bile is the apple, a red apple. That's why I promote that half a red apple every day. Green apples stagnate digestion. If you had your gallbladder out, you need a bile salt for the rest of your life. You take 1 a day, the next day 2, the next day 3, the next day 1. So it's 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3 forever. You take it during your noon meal. If you're going to eat a lot of fat, make sure you take an extra bile salt. Next time, what I want to talk about is how and all the little hidden challenges you have during these 4th of July celebrations. It's going to be here before you know it. Once again, thank you for joining us. Pass this on. My goal is to make a difference in each and every one of your lives. See you next time.